going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games that I love, including my daily $15 best bet, head on over to Pickdawgz.com and click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Well, we had the Wraparound on Saturday. Puck didn't necessarily bounce our way, at least early on, and we got a couple winners throughout the day. I was still looking to bounce back here, have a decent Sunday card, 7 games in total. I think there's definitely some money to be made. A couple of tricky games on the board. We'll kind of outline those as we go along, but still going to plan on making some cold, hard cash as we start finish with this week and start a new week on Monday with college hoops just around the corner too. So let's get right into this action. You guys know the drill. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. First, we had to Madison Square Garden for a matchup between the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders. And first of a couple rivalry games on the board on Sunday's card. But the thing that stands out to me is that I'm still having a hard time trusting the Islanders to be consistent offensively. Like, sure, they got the nice win over the Buffalo Sabres last time out, did so by a final score of 4-3. But before that, like I said, this is an Islanders team that's really had issues finding the back of the net. I mean, they've scored 1 goal or less almost just as many times as they've scored 3 or more this season. So, it's just hard to really know what you're going to see from the Islanders. And you can have the goaltenders stand on their heads all they want, Ilya Sorokin or Semyon Varlamov, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do enough if that offense is inconsistent once again here. The Rangers, for me, just feel like the more complete team. And while they have had some offensive inconsistencies as of late, they've alternated wins and losses in each of their last 5 games. They are at home where they played really well going back to the start of last season. And head-to-head between these two teams, the home teams had the recent success. So I'm going to go with the Rangers, and I'm going to go with the Rangers to win this one in regulation, minus 125. Try to get down that hefty money line price. Now we head to the Canada Life Center where the Winnipeg Jets take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in a matchup between two of the better teams in the NHL. But, the Tampa Bay Lightning, while this is still a Lightning that is still, a solid team across the board from, a talent perspective, they just fell short against the Minnesota Wild last time out. And that's not to take anything away from how the Lightning have been playing. They've won 4 of their last 6 games. But now they head into Winnipeg against a Jets team that continues to be one of the hottest teams in hockey. Since the start of the season, 10-1 to start the year, 4-1 at home. Their lone loss coming against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But even in the game that they lost, Winnipeg still scored 4 goals in that game. They've scored 4 or more in 5 straight and in 7 of their last 8 games. At the end of the day, I think I just trust this, Winnipeg Jets offense to be able to do more offensively. I think both teams are great from a defensive standpoint, but at the end of the day, I just trust the Winnipeg Jets to find the back of the net a little bit more here. Plus, the Jets have had the bulk of the success between these two teams. If the Lightning had won some games here and there head-to-head, maybe I'd be more inclined to take a shot on them here, but the Jets have won each of the last 4 meetings between these two and 5 of the last 6 in Winnipeg. So I'm going to take the Winnipeg Jets here at minus 130. Now we head to the TD Garden for a match between the Boston Bruins and the Seattle Kraken. And this is an interesting matchup here because you do have 2 teams that are both 5-6-1 on the year. But Boston heavily favored at home in this one, but I think it's for good reason because I do think at the end of the day they are the more trustworthy team, even though they have had a share of issues as of late. They've scored 2 goals or less in 5 of their last 7, but they did look good in the first half of the back-to-back on Saturday, taking down the Flyers 3-0 on the road. Seattle, they fell flat. They were shut out by the Ottawa Senators, and they've now lost 5 of 6. They've scored 2 or less in 5 of their last 7 games. The difference for me, though, both these teams started their quote-unquote number 2 goaltenders on Saturday, so it's probably going to be the number 1s of Joey Daccord and Jeremy Swayman here, and I think that I trust Swayman a little bit more in this spot, even though Jonas Korpisalo has actually been playing better as of late. I still think Swayman at home, and I think the Bruins at home get it done here. But I'm going to lean towards the under 6, 6.5, whatever you can get it at, and I also lean towards Boston to get the job done in regulation, maybe a 3-2, 4-2 kind of game here. So give me the under 6, 6.5, and give me the lean towards Boston in regulation. Now we head to the PNC Arena for a matchup between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Washington Capitals. And I can understand why Carolina would be favored at home. they've had a couple solid performances at home this season. Last time we saw them at home, they beat the Boston Bruins 8-2. But the thing for me here is that this is a hefty amount of plus money to leave on the table in a division rivalry game where these two teams do have a lot of familiarity with each other. And, both teams won a game on the road last season in the opposing team's building. And Washington won their game as plus 205 underdogs in a shootout against the Carolina Hurricanes as well. And now Washington, they are on the back-to-back while Carolina is rested here. But this is a Washington team that's won 3 straight games. They've looked really solid. They get likely Charlie Lindgren here. And I still stand by it. I think Charlie Lindgren and Logan Thompson is one of the more underrated 1-2 goaltending tandems in the NHL. Whether for Carolina, whether it's Peter Kochetkov or Frederik Andersen, I still think that, Washington is live here to at least, take a shot on. If this line was around minus 130, minus 140, just given the fact that both these teams are hot right now, maybe you have an easier time swinging me onto the Hurricanes. But at plus 180 with the Caps, who've been on an absolute roll as of late, I'm going to take a shot here with them plus the goal and a half. I'm going to put a little bit on the money line as well at plus 180. Now we head to the XL Energy Center for this matchup between the Minnesota Wild and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the Leafs on the back-to-back here after not being able to get it done against the St. Louis Blues. Once again, lost that game 4-2. Now, I do think they could compete here with Minnesota, but I don't know. I don't love this spot for the Maple Leafs considering that Minnesota's just been on a roll lately. They've won 6 of 7. Even in the game they lost, they scored 5 goals. They've scored 5 goals in 3 straight and 4 of 5. And 4 or more goals in 6 of 7 and 7 of 9. So the Wild are not just doing it well defensively right now and goaltending. They're also doing it really well in terms of finding the back of the net. I do think Anthony Stolarz gets the start here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't see him on any injury report. And it was Joseph Woll that got the start on Saturday. But I still think that the Wild, just can get it done at home. The Leafs are going to have these sort of stumble spots throughout the season and sort of, run hot and cold at times. But I think that the Minnesota Wild find a way to get the job done in this game. So I'm going to take the Wild in this one on the money line at minus 120. Now we head to the Scotiabank Saddledome for a matchup between the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. It's a Battle of Alberta. And normally these Battle of Alberta games are tight, they're competitive, they're physical, and that's not to say that it couldn't be here as well. But, historically between these two teams, the Edmonton Oilers have had the upper hand. They've won 9 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams. And, this is just, I think, an Edmonton spot. They've won each of their last 5 trips to Calgary, if you include the back end of their playoff series in 21-22. But still, the last 4 trips to Calgary have all been victories for the Oilers. And I think the Oilers are just in better standing right now. The Oilers looked really good in their first game without Connor McDavid against the Predators, while the Calgary Flames, they've just started to fall apart a little bit now. Yes, they got the nice 3-0 win over the Devils on Friday, but still, it was a 4-game win streak that preceded that, and I just don't know if I can trust the Calgary Flames to get the job done in this spot. I think the Oilers can get the win here, keep up their dominance over the Calgary Flames. I'll lean towards the Oilers here at minus 155. Our final game on Sunday's card takes us to the Honda Center where the Anaheim Ducks take on the Chicago Blackhawks. And this is another very tricky one here because the Blackhawks have had the majority of success between these two teams, but that's also been because, they've also been the favorite in a lot of those games, and the favorite's 14-4 in the last 18 meetings. But the Blackhawks are still a team that I don't know if I can trust. If I was getting more plus money here, maybe I could be talked into taking a shot on the Blackhawks because, like I said, their road form last year wasn't great. But do I think the Ducks should be favored against many teams? Probably not. So rather than try to, mess around and take a side here, I'm going to teams like the more sensible play here. I'm going to lean towards the under 6. These are two teams that the goaltending has actually been better than I would have expected. Lucas Dostal for the Anaheim Ducks have been playing really well in his starts. He's given up 2 goals or more outings, while the Chicago Blackhawks are setting up Peter Mrazek more often than not. He's usually given up three goals max a night, at least over the last week or so. So I think this could be a lower scoring game head-to-head. The under has been a profitable trend between these two. 4-1-2 in the last 7 meetings and 3-0-2 in the last 5 meetings in Anaheim. So I'm going to take the under 6 between the Blackhawks and the Ducks to round it out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you let me know your NHL picks in the comments if you're looking for my best bets. The games that I love, head to pickdawgz.com, click the premium picks tab at the top of the page, and remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout for an additional 15% off your purchase. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon.